Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 28th January 2017. In today's newspaper, there are not many good news, or there are not many important news, that is the right word to state. But however, as a ritual, let us start the discussion on the editorial. The politics of demonetization. In this article, I will try to learn something from the language for my essay writing. The language is so simplistically presented and it easily conveys a meaning to the examiner. And second thing is, she has structured the essay in such a way that the examiner what to expect from the essay is been clearly shown. So rather than the content of the article, I take the style of writing in this essay. But however, coming back to the article, so the politics of demonetization, the article tries to analyze why the unrest did not occur on demonetization across the Indian society. What made the image of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi increase after demonetization? Is there any political explanation for the same? The first thing is diversionary tactics. During elections, Prime Minister Modi promised that he will bring back all the stocked money in the foreign banks and redistribute that money to the tune of 15 lakhs in every poor man's account. Obviously, bringing the black money stocked in the overseas banks is not an easy exercise. And he has to prove to the people that he is serious still about the corruption. For that, the demonetization has really helped the Prime Minister. And the second is, the demonetization, initially what it is been stated as a fight against corruption and black money, slowly transformed itself to convert the economy into a digital economy. So that clearly explains the program did not intend to achieve its own goals. The 50 days time period which was available provided an opportunity for the government to change the goalposts. And the third thing is, the good intent and bad implementation. Another justification that has come from it is the Prime Minister has good intentions, but it was wrongly implemented, poorly planned. That is what is another narrative in the common man's mind. And above all, if you carefully observe, the demonetization drive as a whole, it has shook the roots of the economy. And IMF and other agencies are down-rating the Indian economy and growth prospects. In this context, the benefits which the government has planned to get did not arrive at. So initially it was projected that the government can make 3 lakh crores to 4 lakh crores rupees of revenue, which can be used for the pro-poor programs, but it did not get in. So the government has significantly diverged the argument, and this digital economy has come into the picture. And in this context, the nationalism is another thing which was brought into the narrative. Any person who has questioned the demonetization, he was clearly banned or clearly labeled as a corrupt. It means the deliberation on the demonetization was staunchly avoided by stating any question against the demonetization is anti-national and it is against the long-term national interests. And what are the long-term interests demonetization is going to achieve are not clear even today. So from these four perspectives, an organized movement against demonetization did not build up. And any large-scale movement has to come up with political participation. And opposition parties are also not united in their fight against the demonetization. And they also did not like themselves to be labeled as corrupt and hoarders of the black money. So that's why these were not confident to bring in a movement which is of a large scale. But what is the impact on the people? If you see, more than 54% of the people in India do not hold bank accounts, and 86% of the currency is removed from circulation. The worst affected will be poor and unorganized and services sector. and the rural India and agricultural laborers will be worst affected. So, in this context, the political motives and lack of unity against the opposition, national narrative, all these have dimmed the mass movement, mass mobilization against demonetization. Getting ties with UAE on track. I'll give you one incident. When Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister, when our first nuclear test was done, UAE is the country that has welcomed it. And when Indira Gandhi has visited UAE, she had more people attended her meeting than the king of UAE itself. And she laid the foundation for a mosque in UAE, which was on the land donated by the king. So, this is the first time a woman was allowed to lay a foundation stone for a mosque. So, this explains how close India and UAE are. At the same time, they are equally far from each other. In this context, after the Modi has become the Prime Minister, the bonhomie is clearly visible. With the Crown Prince as the chief guest on this Republic Day, it is also an exception. He is neither the head of the state nor the head of the government, but he has got an extraordinary treatment from the government of India. In this context, what has prompted India to give such an exceptional treatment to the Crown Prince? Now, remittances, highest remittances for India comes from Gulf. More than $50 billion is the bilateral trade. I don't remember exactly the correct year. I think it is in 2011, 12 or 12, 13. UAE was the largest partner for India, trading partner for India, bypassing the West. And then it is the fifth largest exporting country for oil to India. And 2.5 million Indians are living in UAE. Added to that, UAE has $500 billion sovereign wealth fund. So an MOU is not yet reached, but it will be reached very soon between the sovereign wealth fund and national infrastructure investment fund. So for infrastructure starving India, UAE fund will be very much helpful. And finally, understand that the cross-border terrorism and state-sponsored terrorism was also condemned by the Crown Prince. It is directly against the Pakistan. And India's Kashmir issue was repeatedly raised in OIC and GCC. So, bringing these UAE and other countries close to India will also change the geopolitics in this region. So, from this perspective, the Bonho or else UAE-India relations are very much important for the future of this region. And then, I also forgot to tell you one point. So the defense and strategic areas, the relationship is growing in new dimension. So that's going to take up the look west policy of UAE to align with India's policy. So this is what is the thing. Look west or look east policy. Now coming to the business. The center says GAR is effective from April 1. Now, what is GAR? General Anti-Avoidance Rules. It means it brings on the liability on the businessman to prove that any business arrangement is not in the interest to avoid the tax. So, we have to prove that no transaction was deliberately made to avoid the tax to the tax authority. Previously, the liability lies on the tax officer, now it has been shifted to the citizen. So, it is going to bring in tax terrorism in the other way around. And at the same time, it also increased the tax base in India. And the WTO Pact is going to lift the world trade by $1 trillion. It is trade facilitation agreement. It is going to improvise the customs clearances, decrease the corruption, and it's going to improve the time lag between the exports and imports from weeks to days. So that way it will provide for better trade relations and makes the borders immaterial in the international trade. That is what is the WTO president talks about. So these are the articles for today. And there are no much articles. We have the front page and there is nothing in the front page. And thank you very much and all the best.